Well, welcome into the first call brought to you by Kamada Park. And yes, Kamada Park, big sponsors of our feature race this Saturday as well out of Awapuni. That, of course, being the Kamada Park Manawatu Challenge Stakes Group 2. And also part of that day will be the Group 3 Manawatu Cup. All that to look forward to here on the first call. And we'll preview that in a couple of races as well out of Tarapa. But joined by Jason Tan and Aidan Rodley. Evening to you, Jason.
Hi, Brendan. How are you? Welcome back after a big twilight last Thursday. Had you on the mixing desk. I'm really not cool enough to describe the process of DJing, but it looked good. It looked like it was sort of cranking, as the youth of today would say.
Cranking, it was cranking. Yes, it was right through the ceiling, I thought, actually, with where we were heading, and it was a good night. Did you enjoy the sounds that I was sort of bringing? Like it was just a case of just setting it up for the night before the DJ just stepped in.
What do you call that? The warm-upper or the warmer-upper?
I'd say a warm-up. Yeah.
It was magic TV though. It was a fantastic cross, and of course we were a bit earlier this weekend, but obviously Facebook again with the big prizes up for grabs. I think the jackpot situation and good racing as well, and the real bill. That was something that you tipped out last week. Didn't quite save it for us, but hopefully you've got something for us at around that $50 price this week.
Yeah, it's hard to pluck $51 shots all the time, but yeah, it was nice. It was nice to get a piece of that, but yeah, a little disappointed I didn't have a couple of units on it for the first call.
Well, it would have taken you over the line.
Bank bets would have been done. Yeah, instead you've opened the door. It's pretty close by the sound of it.
I have opened the door. We're going to show that leaderboard a little bit later on just to see where everything sits. But of course, first of all, before we get to the leaderboard, it is time now for the first call jackpot. Yes, the TFC jackpot best bets is in operation once again. And as you can see here, it is free to enter. Now, it is via our live stream tonight. You can, a viewer can comment on the Facebook Live during the show. If you can come forward with a best bet that you like for the whole weekend, you will take on us three with our best bets. A virtual $1 will go on the best bet selection. And as we saw last week, as we kicked off this competition, there was a $100 bonus bet up for grabs. Well, I can tell you it has rolled over, and we do have a jackpot situation of now $200 up for grabs in bonus bets, because Emily came through with her best bet, Scorps, and
your best bet came in as well.
Yeah, Mr. Universe, yeah.
Christopher, nice. Who was the winner of our competition, selected Triumph.
I think he's still got a $50 bonus bet himself, doesn't he? And that's what, even if you don't sort of beat the panel, you still come away with a $50 bonus bet anyhow. So it makes real sense just getting on the live stream now and commenting.
Yeah, so get involved and throw out a couple of selections out there if you feel as though you've got one keen for the weekend. And should we say they can start commenting on Friday racing? What do we say? Well, Saturday racing? Are we
best bets anywhere?
Get in there.
Preferably racing. We've got a couple of selections for no penalty goals scored in a Phoenix soccer. I mean, appreciate that. That's you played the sports bet as well, but racing preferably.
Yeah. Okay. All right then. Well, hit us with your best bet for the racing this weekend. Speaking of the racing, let's move forward and have a look at Awapuni, because we do have a wet track at the moment, and this is going to be a key talking point around probably this race meeting with where we sit, and as we bring you the show live Thursday night. Jason, track condition in that slow bracket, there's been some fine weather. It looks like there's going to be some rain tomorrow.
Went on to Twitter, and Love Racing were posting. They posted a track update, and the track person in charge of Awapuni suggested that dead 6, slow 7 is possible. So that depends on if there is any rain tomorrow. But with no rain, the hope is that it might get back to a dead 6. Mm-hmm. Look, it is a watching brief though, and I've done my form on a slow 7.
Right, well that's the feature race that we're looking at, race number 7, the Kamada Park Manawatu Challenge Stakes. 460 Shadows Cast has been money immediately at $5 into 460, and Rock on Wood money $3.90 to $3.20. Everything else is drifted out, which is no surprise, isn't it, Aidan? I think around these two high-class gallopers. How do you see the map unfolding?
I think it's fairly straightforward, actually. I felt this was pretty matter of fact. Just La Bellarosa's got the tricky barrier draw. Otherwise, they just take their spots. I've got Rock on Wood ahead of Kiwi Ida. I see that they were able to take a position last week, and I just wonder whether they'll try and do that again. So I've got them handier than what maybe a lot of people will. I've got Lady Cartel crossing Emily Margaret, Shadows Cast rolls forward, and Magnum rolls forward as well. It's just that Rock on Wood, Kiwi Ida, they might swap the other way, but I'd be surprised if they're not positive on Rock on Wood like they were last time.
Well, they've got the draw to land there, don't they?
Yeah.
And in fairness, there isn't much pressure in this race at all.
Yeah.
Shadows Cast comes across from sort of a mid to outside draw of 8 at this stage, and Lady Cartel's the natural leader from the inside. I don't see there being much pressure in the race. So I think if you're Ryan Elliott, you do want to have Rock on Wood capped as close to the lead as possible.
Yeah.
I get the feeling it will just be a sprint home, but as soon as you say that, then a jockey's aware of it and they make moves that sort of are different to what you think. But there doesn't look like any speed in the race.
Okay, well, let's have a look at Rock on Wood. This was the effort first time presented to the race as this preparation. Held out Windspell, who then came out and won a Group 1 next time to the race. Of course, in the Captain Cook Stakes, we've also got Henny. This is a very good return from Rock on Wood, who's got some big prizes in mind, and the next of those prizes in mind is on the weekend in the Group 2.
Absolutely. His horse is getting better and better. Just to have a look at Henny, though, she runs into a pocket here and never gets out. It was a really good run. I think she'd have finished a whole lot closer. She's just going nowhere at this point because there's no run there. Obviously, Windspell's come out of this. The best part of his race was that last 50. He's come out of that and won a Captain Cook Stakes. So that form looks good. Obviously, Rock on Wood under weight for age conditions would have had to have met Windspell a couple of kilograms sort of worse off. So there was no guarantees he was going to win a Captain Cook Stakes anyhow. But I thought just looking at that video in particular that Henny at a big price might have been just a touch of value.
Yeah, I couldn't be backing Henny anymore to win. She hasn't won in a long, long time, but she is in really good form. She's been holding that form really well. I don't disagree with you there. I couldn't be backing her, unfortunately. But Rockin was a soft win, wasn't it? And so Ryan Elliott really didn't get to the bottom of him, and you'd expect him to be a better horse second up. So those are positives. I think if you're backing him, you want to see that because he is going to have to find another little bit more up against Shadows Cast, even though that track is probably not to Shadows Cast's favour.
Yes.
But he's going to have to find that little bit more at weight for age.
That's right. Well, let's take you back to Shadow Cast, and of course this is the effort when being beaten in the Captain Cook. Of course he did win this race last year as well, did Shadows Cast. He is Group 1 quality, Aidan, and that's one thing you can say with what he does have over his opposition in the race with Shadows Cast.
Yeah, beat Contessa Vanessa and Dolcetto in this race last year. Obviously, this performance shows that he is absolute top draw quality. I thought he fought really well for second and behind Windspell in this Captain Cook Stakes as well. But I think there's a few form lines when we go further back into what he's done that say that he's a really big winning chance here, Jason.
I didn't actually have anything between him and Rock on Wood pricing it up. And look, if it was a good track, I'd be definitely keen to sort of back Shadows Cast with a bit of confidence. But look, the slow track does dent the confidence a bit. He is more effective on a good track, but I love him over 1,400 metres. I reckon that's his optimum trip. So that 1,400 metre weight for age, I think during the week they've discussed possibly Tarapa in the BCD group sprint. Like that to me is like the ideal race for him at Group 1 level.
Before we move on to other horses, we look back 3 starts in his career and you see that Awapuni went under 63 kilograms. Now, there was an unlucky runner on that, Dark Princess, who was really rattling home, but Dark Princess is in 7 kilograms worse off, so how does she turn the tables? And then you go back into that Anzac Mile, when these two clashed, Rock on Wood and Shadows Cast, that was going back into April.
Yeah.
So, but that day, they met with Shadows Cast carrying 60, Rock on Wood was 53.
Yeah.
There was 7 kilograms between them and only a nose on the line.
Yeah.
This time they come in on set weights. So on that, it does sort of say that Shadows Cast is going to be very, very competitive with a boom horse.
And last year, absolutely trotted up. Shadows Cast, and that was on a dead 6.
Yeah.
So if that track does get back to that range, if it does, then I can see money coming for Shadows Cast. It has to, on his ratings. Like it has to come if the track improves.
And look, no surprise that the money's come as well with the bookies posting $5. I mean, despite the track conditions with where they sit at the moment, I think punters have seen that and thought that was a little bit of a treat around his price. in a race where it looks between him and Rock on Wood, and maybe there was a touch of value, then the punters have taken that around Shadows Cast. Let's have a look at a couple of other horses. First of all, Magnum. Now this is Magnum's win, getting up right on the line here at Pukekohe Park. Now this was a race where Contessa Vanessa was looking to be the winner and got beaten right on the line. Good to see him back into some winning form. We know that his past form, Aidan, is right up to being a contender in this race.
Yeah, it was a really good win. He just timed this perfectly, didn't he, Opie Boston, getting the horse up right on the line. And obviously he's a capable horse. He's been down to Awapuni for a win and a placing, I think, in flying stakes in the past. This is different league at Weight for Age, but on his best form, he's got to be competitive.
You'd love to see him be able to settle a bit closer. Like, he's sort of been a bit hit and miss out of the barriers, and there have been occasions where he has taken a spot, and I think this is the type of race where, you know, Opie is one of the best gate riders in New Zealand. In fact, you'd say he's the best. So if he's able to get this horse out, then he could find that 1-1 position. I think that's the best chance for him to win the race. I'm not sure that he's going to... I just sense that he's probably not got the turn of foot, the brilliance, even at Weight for Age, as a Rock on Wood. So I don't think you'd be wanting to settle behind Rock on Wood. So it's pretty important, that first couple of 100 metres.
Well, Kiwi Ida, we've got the Southern Mare in the race as well, and look, as we know with her as well, she is black type quality. She's got a lot of black type through her preparation. She was placed 2 starts ago, in fact, in the Canterbury Breeders. Where do you sit with her, Jason?
Well, now that, this is her type of race now.
Yep.
She's up in the ratings, so she's, you know, not, she's going to be conceding weight to others at handicap level, but at Weight for Age, this is perfect for her, given what she's achieved. She's a genuine chance, and I think they'd be pretty happy with a dead to slow sort of track for her as well.
Absolutely, she's a winner. She's won 12 of 39. This is her first run in the North Islands. It's a 2-year-old go at, I think, a Wakefield Challenge Stakes. But she beat Emily Margaret in that Canterbury Breeders' Stakes, and Emily Margaret was a Group 2 Wellington Guineas winner last year. So that form from the south is not inferior coming here, and especially under Weight for Age, it does suit Kiwi Ida. I give her a decent chance.
Well, she should have won the Valachi Downs Canterbury Breeders. It wasn't the greatest ride, and as you mentioned, she came out and duly delivered a few days later. So she's in good form. I know that the Parsons are really happy with it.
It's just those horses have obviously now got to measure up to Shadows Cast and Rock on Wood, who do look as though they are superior on paper at least. Okay, well, let's go to the market once again, where we do see Shadows Cast movement, 5 to 460, and movement around Rock on Wood, 390 to 320. Is there anything else here we need to touch on? Dark Princess, 850, Kiwi Ida, $6.50. Secret Allure, just quickly there, Jason, Secret Allure?
I thought she was priced as short as you'd want her. And I don't know, she's a bit of a funny one, isn't she? Because a slow track you'd say yes, and yet she's failed on a worse track than that, when possibly the expectation was that she would be better suited, but I think she would need a couple to perform a little bit below their best.
Well, she chased Shadows Cast in the Copeland's Mile and meets them 5 kilograms worse. It is just that slow track that would bring her into contention, but the surprise here is that maybe the bookmakers actually, when we saw it as being a 2-horse race when the field came out, priced them so sort of, I think quite, I think it's the decent value around the boat.
I think it's the reaction to the track conditions, isn't it? It's like they're basically saying track conditions, if they're slow or worse, then that brings the field closer together. Even on a slow track, I had Shadows Cast marked a narrow favourite over Rock on Wood at Weight for Age. So he's the one that I have to bet. I have a hell of a lot of respect for Rock on Wood as a horse, and he looks like, he's if he stays sound, and there's no reason to suggest at the moment that he won't, that he's going to be in our sort of best races. But Shadows Cast at the moment's the price and the bet.
Yep, I was betting Shadows Cast as well, and I thought they were both values, so I'm happy to play them both, Shadows Cast and Rock on Wood here. Okay, well, let's look at the Group 2 Kamata Park Manawatu Challenge Stakes, and Shadows Cast and also Rock on Wood, well found in the market, and also found... Which one did you go for? I'm sort of wary of track conditions, but I think if the track does hold up well enough, I do like Shadows Cast. I think he's the value with where the market sits at the moment. Yep. But Rock on Wood, I mean, we all know what he's like in terms of being a Group 1 quality horse. He's got it in spades, and he's got his biggest test, I think, on the weekend, Rock on Wood, and he's right up to it. Take the Quinella, 1 into 3. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be back and looking at the Manawatu Cup.
Raceform is your new racing weekly, with expert form analysis, informed industry views, and the stories that make the game great. Subscribe now, or available every Thursday in selected stores. Raceform, showcasing the best of our sport.
Set apart from the rest of the world, enviable bloodlines run the length and breadth of New Zealand, producing some of the very best yearlings on the planet. But you don't get Group 1 winning racehorses purely from nature. There's toil behind the triumph with expert horse people who give the Kiwi bred a true winning edge. The figures speak for themselves. Destined for racetrack stardom, over 1,200 yearlings are on offer at Karaka this summer. New Zealand bloodstock, where winning begins.
The First Call, brought to you by Kamara Park, one-stop shop for your horse's preparation.
Military move, who shot the barman in Santos. Military move just in front, who shot the barman's trying hard. But the former Derby winner is now a Manawatu Cup winner as well.
JKB Riddell, they're winning with Military Move. Gee, second, who shot the barman? How about that for a historic?
Takes us back a bit too, and didn't he like it, Jonathan Riddell too? It was a good horse though, wasn't he? Military Move, won a Derby, I think second in a 2,000 guineas, went up to Hong Kong and obviously came back and won a Manawatu Cup as well. So yeah, Sean Ritchie did a really good job with him, and yeah, nice to recap on races like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, don't forget get your selections in as well for the jackpot competition as well. Start getting those comments in. So on Facebook Live, tell us what you're liking as your best bet for the weekend, and you could be a part of trying to get a piece of $200 worth of bonus bets. If you are selected as the winner, of course, you will get $50 bonus bet as well. So we'll announce that at the end of the show. Okay, it's time now to have a look at the Manawatu Cup, and this is the market for it now as we see it. $4 around Concert Hall, already a move around Concert Hall, $4.60. So everything's sort of just shifted out a touch. Platinum Invader opened at $4.80, is now $5.5, and the way the track conditions are sitting, I'm happy to be on the drifter, to be honest with you. $8 around Hunter Pence has been a little tightened as well. So that's the market at this stage. Any sort of outsiders we can talk about here, Bellum at $41. Yatima, $6.50, a horse who was beaten last time out in the Wanganui Cup when finishing into 4th position. Let's have a look at the map now. Aidan, how do you see things facing up here?
There's no clear leader and not a lot of speed. And one thing as well, before the show, I've rung Sean Ritchie, Black Magic Woman will start at Te Rapa. So that horse doesn't figure in our maps and we'll start at Te Rapa. So okay. Dolcetto goes forward. I think they'll ride Samson a little bit more positively. It's just shown no speed in the last couple, but I'm sure Jonathan Parks will be anxious to get there. Your team with a good draw will take advantage of that. Hunter Pence, despite being drawn out in 15, I don't think there's a lot of speed here. I think they can roll forward and get Hunter's Pence somewhere near them. I've got Concert Hall taking up a good position from 14. Basically the spot the Black Magic Woman was in. I had the horse 3 wide, but I think it can maybe slot into a spot because there's a lot of horses who will just want to get back in this race.
Do you reckon this is key to this horse to try and get a pair or two close to Concert Hall, because that's been the demise of the horse, getting back in races where they haven't been able to go up front, obviously the Counties Cup and the OMF Stakes.
Yep, New Zealand Herald ran a story this week saying that Roger James is giving Ryan Elliott licence to get as handy as he likes. So barrier 14 makes it a little bit tricky, and Ryan is a guy who normally just lets his horses land and then lets races unfold, but geez, he's in good form. His ride on Bowden was absolutely first class last week.
Yeah, there's two guys that are seeing it big at the moment in terms of as beach balls. That's Manus Labuschagne, and the other one is Ryan Elliott, who's seeing it very, very big. Let's have a look at a video for you, and Hunter Pence is the video we do want to show you, and this is the effort, Jason, when finishing second, of course, in the Wanganui Cup and a couple of other key rivals as well.
Yeah, it's a strong effort, and I think a pretty good form race. A decent reference for this, with Platinum Invader, Yatima and Bellum sort of battling there. The run of Platinum Invader really catches my eye. He's been building, he's 5th up, he gets 2,300 metres, and I know he's covered here by Hunter Pence, but his was the quickest last 600 of the race of the runners that we're talking about for this for the Manawatu Cup on Saturday and of the race, but pertinent for those 4 runners out of that race. And I just think that timing for him is just right. And I think that easing of the track is fine as well. I just thought he's a really good price at $7.50.
Yep. Do you agree with the tactics, and can they roll forward with Hunter Pence here? And
possibly. I did speak also with Howie Matthews and Sampson. They will intend to sort of be as positive as they can. Last start, tried to anticipate the start with the intention of riding it forward and just got it wrong, basically rocked back and sort of bungled as the gates opened. But the intention was to go forward.
From that video, your team wasn't too bad, comes in here on the minimum, looks to be some chance, and I thought Bellum was okay getting along the inside, maybe a little bit better than it appeared on paper. And you know, their closing sectionals were okay. They've been all around it, you know, that 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th all here. It's just Sentimental Miss who's not coming out of that Wanganui Cup here.
Right, well, let's move on to another chance, and it is Concert Hall, who we do want to talk about with the effort in the Counties Cup. You've also got Toms, who's back in 10th position here as well. In a twinkling, leads, dominates the race. You've got 3 other horses trying to come out of the pack and chase it down, and one of them is in the yellow cap, and that being Concert Hall. Look, in fairness, does very well, Jason, to finish as close as she has in this race with how things have panned out.
I think she's another one that a dead to slow track is good for her. I think that's a benefit as opposed to a good track. Look, she just was in the wrong position given the sectionals required to win the race. Opie Bosson racked them and stacked them and sprinted home, and she ran a super last 600 metre sectional in her own right, Concert Hall. I wouldn't be ruling out Tom's. I don't think he handled right-handed going around that first bend very well the first time. He lost possession, got back to last, was scrubbed up, and again the race was away from him, and he did his best work late on the line. I certainly wouldn't be ruling him out as being a chance in the race.
Back to Awapuni's a key, and a little bit of forgiveness in the ground.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The only thing about that is that he was 5 lengths behind Concert Hall, and I know that was a speed race, so those horses getting back didn't have much luck, but they're meeting on similar weights again. He's not going to get an advantage for being beaten 5 lengths by Concert Hall.
I could find 5 lengths. I could find 5 lengths in his run.
So you've got Tom's ahead of Concert Hall?
No, not as overall chance, but certainly a bet over Concert Hall. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I could find enough margin in that run from him throughout the race. Like, he absolutely was hopeless around that first bend. I think back the other way around is perfect for him. Look, there's no difference in their barrier draws really. They're both drawn horribly. Like, I don't know. I think if Concert Hall they try to go forward, she's going to be caught out on a limb in a world of pain. So I don't know where she settles. I find it actually a really niggly race to be taking the $4 around here. But
Yeah, it is. I mean, so $4.60 into $4 is the move around the horse. $5.50 around Platinum Invader. Collins Street, blinkers go on. $10 around the Alan Sharrock trained runner, Aidan.
Yeah, did be home Concert. Tom's 3 starts back, so he's in 3.5 kilograms worse. I am liking Tom's here in the shape of this race. He's a contender. He's been a horse I've been against a little bit, but especially with that little bit of rain around, I think it helps as well. But yeah, the more I looked at it, the keener I was on Concert Hall. And the other one is Platinum Invader. We know he's a New Zealand Derby place getter who's at his best form, and he looks as though he's coming back to it. So they're the 2 I want to be betting here.
Yeah, so I had, sorry to interrupt BP, but I had Concert Hall and Platinum Invader both at 5.20 and Tom's at 7. And so sort of my 2 bets in the race are sort of Tom's and Platinum Invader, and I just had to let Concert Hall go, unfortunately, but that's how I saw it. They're all very similar types of horses. They're going to be in very similar places in the running, I reckon. And
you
so
could actually
they're going to need some
top 3, because I think bookies are offering 4th place as well.
They are, yes. I think that's something we need to mention actually. So there's top 4 payouts available if you have a top 3 investment with the bookmakers. Now this is going to be running through the summer on the Premier Saturday meeting. So for instance, the weekend is a Premier meeting at Manawatu, so you've got a chance to bet into the Group 2 and the Group 3. Top 3, you can get paid out if you run 4th as a place getter, and that's going to run through obviously the Christmas meetings at Ellerslie.
So you'd be able to get on Concert Hall for the place.
I don't want to back into place.
Maybe you can get in the double.
These are not bet types that I like. No. I do like the tier promotions though. They are flying. I mean, between all the racing ones, the money back specials, and the Labuschagne cricket based ones.
Maybe Bellum's a nice bet for that top 4. You mentioned Bellum as a
41.
Actually, you might have got me there, because I don't mind Bellum to place because he just doesn't win anymore. But he's running good races.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, you got me. Damn
All right, maybe got 5 years on that one. All right, let's move on. Race number 3.
Double match.
Call sign Mav, $3 is the second favourite. Mascarpone, $2.80. Rhaegar, $4. This is some 3-year-old race when you've got these 3 horses in the race. You've also got Sig Positano around $12. There's some little bit of support there. Trifolium is at $15.
Spoke to Jamie Richards this morning, and Richmond more than likely goes to the 65. So I haven't mapped the horse in my speed map here in Richmond on his guidance that it will be running in race 8 down there. So that gives us Rhaegar on speed with Call Sign Mav, who presses forward as well. It's not up on the TAB website, or in New Zealand Racing website yet, but Call Sign Mav did win a jump out at Hastings last week. And, well, speaking to John Barry this morning, he said that the horse is probably a week away from further to where he wants them to be, but he is happy with them going into the race. Mascarpone gets back a little bit. Just the tricky barrier draws there in 9, 10, 11. Durham Lad, Lord Boozeron, who both go forward horses, and even Trifolium's go forward horse, just where they sit, because I thought there was a lot of speed here. I thought it was a genuinely run 3-year-old race.
Yeah,
is that the way you didn't see it that way?
I wondered whether Craig Grills might be able to get Call Sign Mav outside of the lead and control it. I just wasn't sure who'd get to the lead first, whether it be a horse like Rhaegar or a horse like Second Slip, and whether they'd push with Rhaegar to try and lead over Second Slip from the inside draw, sort of might just lob there.
You see horses like Lord Boozeron who've got speed, who could just throw a spanner into this away.
The one thing that Call Sign Mav has shown is the ability to absorb speed. He ran some really hot tempo races at Hastings and still stayed there. He was very good.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Here it is.
and he's drawn in a good spot too. You know, for Grills to be able to just work around and let things unfold, but get there in the end.
He's only had 5 starts, so it's something we forget, isn't it? And like he's won twice, run this cracking second in a Hawke's Bay Guineas in behind Catalyst, and then gone on to a Group 1 next time out. He looks like a really good horse. They have taken the blinkers off, the noseband goes on for today, but he beats the rest of these boys by plenty.
And John Barry said that he has that workout, that jump out that you mentioned was without the blinkers, and reported that he ran really well without them. And it was good for him to be able to see other horses and to be able to react to other horses, and he was pretty pleased with what he saw out of that.
I think the key with Call Sign Mav is he's got a great chance of being in a better spot to where his main rival's going to be, and as you said, Jason, he's got a great chance of trying to control the race from there, Call Sign Mav. At the same time, boy, look at this boy once he lets down with his big extravagant action.
Yeah, it doesn't even extravagant.
He throws it out, doesn't he?
Yeah.
His near side forward lead there.
This was good though,
wasn't it? Just the way he picks them up, and I think it's one of the reasons why Jamie Richards is actually shying towards the other race, is that they've got a lot of respect around this horse and think he's a decent chance. He's won his last 2 pretty impressively. It really is a yardstick race for him, but on what we're seeing, he looks as though he'll measure up. He's narrowly favourite here over Call Sign Mav. Interesting to see the Living Classic market. He's at $8, whereas Call Sign Mav's at $21. So the bookmakers see, you know, a more market difference there. So it is going to be some sort of guide, this.
Like, he's run fast in the 65s and the 72s, what he's done there at Trentham. He's run a very good closing last 600 sectional, which is what you'd expect to the eye as well. And that form line around Lillicoy and Romantic Lady and Free to Shine has really stacked up the last month. So all those factors are positive factors for him, but you're taking this early season 3-year-old form that's been around Group 2 and Group 1 races already against a horse that might actually have that potential. It's a mouth-watering prospect to see how they line up. Also, their patterns, as you mentioned, they're quite different. You expect that Call Sign Mav is going to be up and contesting the lead, and you're going to expect Mascarpone to be 3 or 4 lengths in arrears at the 600. Where they'll be on the line, yeah, that's not straightforward. I think the bookmakers down the line have got it pretty close.
Yeah, well, let's talk about Rhaegar, because he did go to the Bone Crusher Stakes, and it was off the back of a trial leading up to this in the week where he went forward and he did a great job there. He did a nice job in his trial. So
he was really keen in that trial.
He was keen, and he took an age to pull up as well in that trial. So here they've gone forward, they've taken blinkers off. This is in the Bone Crusher. See, you've got the feeling that he is going to be the leader in the race?
I think so, because he's led up, and when he won the stakes race last year at LSE, he was leading up as well, and obviously he was really good. He's run fourth in the Group 3 in Sydney, so his form's okay. He's going to take improvement out of that run for sure. You just think that he's going to bounce out of it, but. Yeah, has he got enough bounce to be beating those top two in the book? I'm not too sure.
I just don't know whether he's got the requisite brilliance. He might not need it if it is a genuine slow track. Like, it might be more a test of stamina than of brilliance, but I just don't know that he's got that turn of foot that's required. I think that Call Sign Mav can sit on speed with him and has shown that better kick. And if they go really hard, then we know that Mascarpone's got a heck of a finish on him. So I don't know. I thought out of the three at $4, he was the big under. I definitely didn't have him that short, but you've got to respect Murray Baker and Andrew Forsman. They've taken this horse to Australia. And
bets?
I plumped towards Call Sign Mav, but I nearly tossed a coin. I couldn't back them both, but maybe you could back them both. I don't know. Like, if you do, then you're throwing Rhaegar out at $10 plus, eh?
Yeah, I'm backing them both in the first leg of the double, of course. So into the second leg, which is we'll get to that very shortly. Well, it's a rating 82. It's a cracking race. I think we're going to talk about that race. So
okay, all right.
Yeah, so that's my first leg of the double. It's those two, and I'll finish it off after this one.
All right. Hold on to your breath.
Do not go anywhere. Enter your best bet on Facebook and do not go anywhere.
All right, if you want to bet into TAB doubles, you'll be right at home here, because we've got the second leg of the double here, race number 4. And
he's dead set on a cut of the double, hasn't he? Like, he's dead set getting a cut of all the double turnover, there's no doubt.
Must be. We need to start talking about trebles, I think, Jason, and then I think we might be onto something. 3.30 for Lincoln Raider, though, is the favourite. 4.20 for Cinerama, 4.50 for Portland Jimmy, who comes back from the Wanganui Cup and back in distance to 1,600 metres. Hartley 6.50, also in market, and Bonnie Ezra at $7. Let's have a look at a map for you here, Aidan, and we've got a horse who's drawn an inside gate, as we said, and coming back in distance, and that being Portland Jimmy, so that leads. And what else have you got with it? Yeah,
Miss Contessa will go forward, I think, and so that means that Portland Jimmy will come across. Obviously, he's been leading over the 16s and then got up to 2,000 in the Wanganui Cup. He just went too hard. He had to go too hard to get there last time, I felt. So 1,600 metres, they might be pressing him a little bit early, but I think he gets there easy enough. Keep It Savvy, Pep Talk go forward, Hartley there. Then you've got a few horses who are just get-back horses, such as Prosecco, Lincoln Raider, even Bonnie Ezra as well. So I didn't think it would be a super fast run, but...
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. What's your sense for the overall tempo?
Yeah, they do like to run Portland Jimmy along at genuine tempo, just sort of genuine sectionals, don't they? So I think he'll get there, but I don't think there's going to be a huge amount of pressure to really extend him. So I didn't think it was a super fast run.
All right, so they'll find their spots and run it along, maybe at even tempo. Let's find out maybe a little bit more around the race on other selections, which could finish off strong. Do you think this horse is one of them? Definitely, Jason. Lincoln Raider was beaten in the Copelands 2 starts ago, and then Kozi Asano produced this in a rating 72 to win at Trentham, and Opie Bosson aboard on Saturday.
With some BP bank bets on him this day too, I think, from memory.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was on the Saki and the Kobe beef, obviously, during this period of time. But this, I saw the result, and heck, this was a good performance. A performance that we'd been waiting for. 3 previous starts, this preparation for him to go bang, and he delivered at Trentham. That's maybe a little bit of concern to Awapuni in that slightly different track configuration. That said, has placed a couple of times there, but from 4 attempts hasn't won there yet. It's a small worry, but I'm happy that you think that the tempo on the race is going to be even. I think an evenly run race is good for him. Because then he can work into it, wind into it, and hopefully be presented down sort of.
He is trained on the track as well, so he'll know the place. And like,
but just his run style, like he just needs that winding up. So
he's one of my favourite horses in the country. I love him.
Lincoln's Raider.
Yeah, he's one of my favourites. So I'd love to see him be winning this, and obviously Opie Bosson ticks on him as well when he's won on him before. So, yep, like that.
Heart emoji, Lincoln Raider. Wow,
So a 4-race winner that's having 17 starts, one of your favourite horses. How does that come about?
Through that Trentham Carnival last year, when he came from last and did it just like he was beating.
Is that when he hooked you? Is that when he hooked you? Is that when he?
He was, and I've been on him. I've had winning bets on him, and just he owes me nothing. I really like him.
He's actually getting a little bit flushed talking about it.
I
can see the emotion. I'm actually going to make him my best. After all of that, I'm going to make him my best Lincoln Raider. I think a genuinely run race, and he's going to be able to come centre track and roll past them. But it is a good race. It's not blimmin' me, it's the horse. Like, cool the Jets.
Cool the Jets. Yeah, wow.
He's part of my second leg in the double. Just to get that out there right now too.
Okay, right. Gee, I won a lot of money off the Real Beal on the weekend. It's still my favourite horse. But anyway, it's all good. Let's move on to Cinerama. Let's move on to this runner when winning last time to the races. She closed very strongly late. Once copping this bump here, first of all, and then had to balance up again. And then once she was able to balance up, the daughter of Darcy Brahma had She's Sensational, was able to win here, Jason.
It's a good part of the video to highlight that bump, because it's not an easy thing to overcome. And you'd say you're no chance of getting the prize. Oh, actually, you are now
as well, and so it is weaponry.
And you go straight back. That's a big
run. It's come out and won again since at Tauranga, so
100%.
Yeah, it's a good run.
It was a good run. That's Cinerama, when winning last time to the races, and presented as a runner that has moved in the market $4.80 into $4.40. Well, Hartley, I think we know what when you get with Hartley, you're always going to get a very good, honest performance, and this is the effort in behind Hypnos last time, Aidan.
Yeah, a really good run, and go back 2 starts, and here's the horse who's run third to Rock on Wood and Windspell. Windspell's been a Group 1 winner since, so he was a horse who dead heated at Hastings going back 4 starts. His form has been top class right the way through, and he's just got to be a contender again. He's so genuine. I really like what he's doing, and I thought he was a big factor in this race.
Genuine pace is good for him. If that pace again is genuine and he can slot in just behind, that's how they like him ridden, and that's how he seems to perform best. So, yeah, Hartley, he is genuine. When that money comes from Taranaki and New Plymouth, though, speaking about Cinerama,
you prick your ears.
You do prick your ears.
Yeah. This runner here's 1-2 on the spin. Bonnie Ezra.
How good's he been?
Yeah, very good.
This Road to Rock, he was really well back this day.
Yeah.
He was what you would term hot in the market, and he duly delivered. And look, he's 2 from 2 this prep. He's 3 from 5. It's pretty hard to knock the fact that he goes on and wins. He just doesn't. He hasn't put a real big number on the board compared to, say, a Lincoln, well, more a Hartley and Portland Jimmy, and to a lesser extent a Lincoln Raider.
But he hasn't found his level yet either.
No, exactly, and that's a very key point for him.
Yeah.
So I'll be watching betting on him very closely.
Isn't it a good race? It's a really good race. We talked about a lot of depth here, and
a great race to love your best bet.
Yeah, and as well as that, trying to get it down to just 3 in the second leg of the double.
Well, you're a big chance to get in the double and the concession. So what are you?
Tell me Lincoln Raiders in the second leg of your double.
The top 3. And it does.
Tell me you didn't order the code red.
Leaving Bonnie Ezra and Cinerama doesn't fit comfortably with me, or even Prosecco for that measure, who was really good last time. So the top 3.
All right.
So there we go.
Top 3 in the market.
1, 2, and 2, 2, 1, and 3.
Okay.
A couple of units.
What about for you, Jason?
Lincoln Raider. Yep. That's my best of the weekend, and so of the 100 units that I'm allocated, the 100 units that I'm allocated, I'm going to use 25 of those.
That would get you home. If BP hasn't got to the 1,000 yet, that bet would actually get you home.
I'm not sure of BP's tactics to get to the 1,000 first, but yes, theoretically that would.
There will be.
Yeah, well. Yeah. All right. Well, gee, this is going to be a good race to the 1,000 on Saturday, that is for sure. Or will it be happening on Saturday? We'll have to find out. We'll find out very shortly what our bets are going to be. We're going to take another break with the first call brought to you by Kamada Park. We're off to Te Rapa for our next bit of racing.
Make up for Rodley, please. Make up for Rodley because he needs a bit of dabbing down.
Raceform is your new racing weekly, with expert form analysis, informed industry views, and the stories that make the game great. Subscribe now. We're available every Thursday in selected stores. Raceform, showcasing the best of our sport.
Set apart from the rest of the world, enviable bloodlines run the length and breadth of New Zealand, producing some of the very best yearlings on the planet. But you don't get Group 1 winning racehorses purely from nature. There's toil behind the triumph with expert horse people who give the Kiwi bred a true winning edge. The figures speak for themselves. Destined for racetrack stardom, over 1,200 yearlings are on offer at Karaka this summer. New Zealand bloodstock, where winning begins.
The First Call, brought to you by Kamara Park, one-stop shop for your horse's preparation.
So if I fall, it'll be 'cause I jumped, and if I jump, it'll be 'cause I'm reaching for the heights.
Racing at Te Rapa again on Saturday, of course off the back of a very big day on Waikato Cup Day. Don't forget to get your selections in if you're watching live via Facebook. TAB, TFC Best Bets Jackpot, and yes, the jackpot has rolled over to $200 in bonus bets. If you do believe, you can find the winner for the weekend. And
can we enter? Like if I put a comment down? Or...
No.
Oh, okay.
No. There we go, there was a simple answer. It was just like that for Aidan, so no entering for any of the Rodley family, actually. Just on the quiet there as well. Right, let's have a look at Te Rapa race number 7, and we see a market here. Oh, I find this a tricky race. Boy, if there's tricky races over the weekend, I think this is one of them. Crafty Jess favoured at $4.60. Won well last week at an 82. Hina Arangi was unlucky in the Kalai Zuzu, $5 when copying a couple of bumps down the straight from the real deal. Hey Tiger, $6, cutting up rough at $6.50. Big Mike's at 11's no loitering, $10. As a boy, beaten behind Magnum, was working home, $10. Neeson, $10. And Red Cayenne at $7. So we've just spoken about the whole field there, and the market is between $4.60 and $11. So what's going to happen in the map?
Well, I think Red Cayenne, who didn't show anything speed-wise last time, I think from barrier 1 can press forward and be the leader here. I'd expect No Loitering to be somewhere near the speed as well. Neeson obviously is a get-out horse as well, and I thought Hinarangi would be able to hold up. It just means tricky positions here for Big Mike and Crafty Jess. Whether Big Mike, who's normally a horse who they do like to roll forward on, can get there or not, I'm just not too sure. And Crafty Jess got the run of the race last week when winning from the trail, but that barrier draw just not as kind this week. How did you see the match, Jason?
Yeah, I wondered whether, I wasn't sure about Red Cayenne being able to hold that spot. There was a bit of pressure, I thought, from those horses like Neeson and Hinirangi, as you mentioned, that could push across, and intent from Jonathan Riddell on Big Mike is to, even though he might not be there after 150, whether he wants to be there, you know, down the long back straight run to that bend. You know, it is a long run, so it gives him the opportunity to just keep rolling.
Blinkers on for Big Mike, so
yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think he's obviously better over more distance, but with where he sits in his preparation, he is a horse that can just keep rolling. Let's have a look at Crafty Jess, though. This is the win last Saturday, Jason. This is a horse who was able to lift strongly with Lady Rudolph out wide trying to finish the race off, but Crafty Jess goes from this 82 win to an open handicap.
She would have been unlucky had she not won this race. I know she got given the draw, but she's been running in really good form. And so, you know, at Te Rapa, if you're trailing into the straight on a sort of a good track, then that's just a super spot to be in. But she's running really well. And overall, the time of this race and the numbers around it weren't dissimilar to the Kalamazoo. So that says to me that, you know, she lines up nicely against a Hinirangi and that sort of form line.
Well, on that, you're saying that they've set the time up. The horse that set the time up was No Loitering, who wasn't that far away. It's gone clear even 250 out before the horse who's got the run of the race has come over the top. So I don't think there was much between them actually here, between Crafty Jess and No Loitering.
There's about a length and a half between the whole field.
Exactly.
There's basically nothing. Yeah. It's a very hard race in that regard, and so the run of the race is going to be important. Like each horse's individual run. I know that's the case for racing, it's Plymouth racing, but particularly when there's only a length and a half over the field to me.
Yeah. I think run it 10 times, you'll get 10 different results just about, I think, with this type of race. Let's have a look at Hey Tiger. Now we're going to Hey Tiger's effort when running 5th behind Supera. This is Hinarangi as well, running 6th, 2 starts ago. Of course, was beaten in the Kalai Zuzu last week, Hinarangi. So Hey Tiger, how do we line up this form around these two runners, Hey Tiger, Hinarangi?
No, Hey Tiger's going really well. I know after the line he veered off off and dump Jasmine Fawcett here as well. But his run was really good. His win 2 starts back is in a really key form race is one of the interesting sort of factors into this, because I think there's about 4 of them cutting up rough, no loitering Hinarangi in that race as well. So no knock on Hey Tiger, and I reckon Hinarangi's going all right too and comes in okay at the weights.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about her. Is she going okay?
Well, when the real Bill came through last week, she's bumped her out of the way, right? And that really has cost her finishing a little bit closer. She's only been beaten 4.5 lengths.
Oh no, I just looked at that and I sort of looked at the race and I thought, and then I sort of replayed it and I replayed it and I compulsively, obsessively replayed it 8 times. And I thought, well, are you going well enough at that point that she got a little squeeze? If she was, wouldn't the Hinarangi that's going well just like cop it and just keep going? I don't know.
I was looking at the same thing.
The thing is, she's got such a big weight swing in her favour. Like she drops down to 52 kilo. Like that's a massive advantage. And so when Baker Forsman horses, when they drop in weight, they're so fit and tough. They seem to fly. I don't know what to make of it, to be honest.
No, as I said before, it's the trickiest race of the weekend. Cutting Up Rough actually has Alicia Collar to board too as well on that runner with Ralph Manning, $6.
Cutting Up Rough's only been
Eagle Technology
ran
stakes
really
defeat.
well. There was a sprint that Eagle Technology last time out. Prior to that, the forms around Hartley and chased home Hey Tiger and Bowden a couple of starts back as well. So beat home Sentimental Miss 2 starts back, who's come out and won a Wanganui Cup. So the form's okay around Cutting Up Rough as well. I give him a chance. So in the end, it's one of those races, like you say, it's even. So I'm going to have a chance of winning my 1,000 by
throwing in the field.
by throwing As a Boy in there. So I'm going to put 35 a win on As a Boy. Here's a horse who, in this last 2, ran the quickest last 600 and behind Magnum last time out. 2 starts back. Last time out was only 100th of a second off the quickest. And so we've got Cutting Up Rough, Hey Tiger and As a Boy going into the following race, Intrigue and Germanica. So I thought were clearly the 2 to beat the last for a double.
I know that was a good run last start. Does the horse need some give in the ground though?
Maybe, and obviously we put our faith in Andrew Calder last week with Super Strike. He was a horse who just come up short as a horse who got second up, but I think third up with the way he's been closing off, certainly some sort of chance.
Okay,
I couldn't knock sort of you picking anything to win that race. I'd sort of, for the sake of it, I put a bet on Crafty Jess, but like I couldn't say that there's any massive advantage that I have over how anyone else sees it. It's just such an even race.
It's a good race though, isn't it? And probably a key lead up into the Ritual Mile. And there's sort of a few of those type of races through the weekend. That 82 we spoke about it at Awapuni's another one with real depth and sort of like across the board chances of winning it.
Yep. Okay, well, let's the look at Te Rapa there, race number 7, the open handicap, the Lodge Real Estate over the 1,600 metres. Going to take a break. We're going to catch up with Thad Taylor, see where the leaderboard's at and get some bank bets.
Raceform is your new racing weekly, with expert form analysis, informed industry views, and the stories that make the game great. Subscribe now, or available every Thursday in selected stores. Raceform, showcasing the best of our sport.
Set apart from the rest of the world, enviable bloodlines run the length and breadth of New Zealand, producing some of the very best yearlings on the planet. But you don't get Group 1 winning racehorses purely from nature. There's toil behind the triumph with expert horse people who give the Kiwi bred a true winning edge. The figures speak for themselves. Destined for racetrack stardom, over 1,200 yearlings are on offer at Karaka this summer. New Zealand bloodstock, where winning begins.
The First Call, brought to you by Kamada Park, one-stop shop for your horse's preparation.
If it's genuinely run with Just Amaze leading, I think Just Amaze can hold on and win.
Do like Just Amaze here, 10 units to win. Just Amaze and Sammy Spratt in front in the cup, and the local gets the cup. It'll be Just Amaze with a brilliant all-the-way win.
I'm with Julius. I think the old boy can do it. So I'm happy to have a small win bet on him.
Julius ranging up on the outside. Donna and Billy. Julius puts his nose in front. He's home. Julius. Oh, he's a marble.
15 units to win on Bowden.
Bowden sprinted hard. Bowden went away. He put 3 lengths on them. 4, 5 lengths in front. Have a look at Bowden. His first middle distance attempt, galloping straight and true and way too good.
Best bet for the weekend, I'm going to go to Mr. Universe in race number 2 out of Awapuni.
He's really muscling up here. Wow, oh, look at that. Mr. Universe bolted in.
I actually thought the value in the race, Emily, was around Lilakoi. Lilakoi 5-a-win, 10-a place there at Awapuni.
But it's Lilakoi, and Lilakoi's racing away with the Unity.
Little Quinella, 10-unit Quinella with Super Strike and Star of Bombay as well.
Star of Bombay, she's a little bit green, but she's got them covered here, and that's a very impressive win. Star of Bombay beat Super Strike.
Nice weekend there. That's a good little fill up there from Jason Tam with some great selections. Craig Grills came through with the bickies a few times there as well over the weekend. So nice to know.
I don't know if Jason missed one, did he? I think everything that he basically
great cover with that Star of Bombay, Quinella.
Well, she's a good filly, isn't she? Like Super Strike. I mean, just wasn't able to get in front of her. She got that pair advantage from Grills. I thought one of the rides of the weekend was Rosie Myers on Lilakoi. Managed to get her out of the gates, which is no easy task. And I know there's a lot of antics before the start that delayed the start, and some fillies didn't handle it. But to get into the 1x1 at that point there, it was going to be very hard for Alaloon to run past her because of the sectional that she can peel off. And she was pretty dominant in the end.
Stable's got a couple of handy ones, don't they? So it's good.
All right, well, it's time to bring in Thad Taylor now and say a very good evening to you, Thad, as we look forward to, of course, the Manawatu Cup coming out of Awapuni.
Yeah, look, interesting races always is, BP. Good evening to you. Concert Hall, our $4 favourite, has been extremely well back. They've been expecting this mare to win for a little while. She gets back, she charges home. That's her racing pattern, which can make her a little bit unlucky at times, but with half an eye on the City of Auckland Cup, they'll be wanting Concert Hall to be winning tomorrow in the Manawatu Cup. So that's been extremely well back. Your team is the other one at 6.5. That was an encouraging run in the Wanganui Cup for Stephen Marsh, getting home for 4th there. It is a bit of an up-and-comer, your teamer, but at 6.5 there is some good interest there. But clearly the best back at this stage, Concert Hall.
The Kamata Park Manawatu Challenge, the next race we want to talk about, Thad. Big interest here around Shadows Cast and also Rock on Wood.
Yeah, both quality gallopers. Look, it's very interesting with these track conditions, Brendan. When we priced this race on Wednesday, we probably were playing for a sort of a slow 8, even slow 9. And that probably had some question marks around Rock on Wood, who hasn't really performed on those sort of tracks. And I think that's really opened up an opportunity for our customers around Rock on Wood. We were $3.70 when we opened. We're now into $3.20. It's been the best back runner on the card. We've had a $5,000 investment at 3.5. The form looks fantastic, obviously, with what wind spells come out and done in the Captain Cook. So, look, I think the track might not be as heavy as we first initially thought. So, again, it's opened up some opportunities around Rock on Wood. Look, Shadows Cast, an honest performer. Does look like he's going to be running for us again. But if anything beats Rock on Wood, I'm going to say declare him clearly the best back runner up and down the country for Saturday.
Okay, Thad, we'll move north now to Te Rapa. Just what's happening there?
Yeah, look, a little bit quiet on the undercard, BP, to be perfectly honest. But there is one in the last. Germanicus, we haven't seen it for a month. We're at one on the track at Te Rapa at its last start, very impressively. Ran down to Hawke's Bay with good merit as well during the carnival there, and $3.50 we opened Germanicus into $3.30, so a really good push around Germanicus. Going up against Intrigue, just not sure where this galloper's at, and I don't think customers are either. At $5, we've seen no money for it since its return from Queensland, and we haven't seen any money in the first 24 hours of trading around Intrigue. So Germanicus clearly best backed. A couple of others, BP, I've got for you and the Manawatu card. Cinerama looking to go back to back. This is another one that won't mind the track drying out. $4.60 into $4.20. And then in the 2-year-old race, we have a first starter of Jamie Richards called Perfect Scenario. It's placed at a couple of trials. One of those trials that ran second behind Not an Option. Obviously half an eye on the Karaka Million for a lot of these horses, but a first starter from Jamie Richards that has been well backed is a Perfect Scenario.
Well, we are getting close to Christmas time, so I think it's time for a little bit of a treat. Maybe coming really hot for the punters on the first call special. What are you offering, Thad?
I reckon you've got us cold here, BP. Perfectly honest. You've gone for a top 3 double. Now, with Concert Hall, who's been extremely well backed in the Cup, into Rock on Wood in the Manawatu Challenge Stakes for a top 3 double. The double as it stands would be $2.30. We're going to push it out to $2.60. Then I found out we're paying top 4 dividends in those races. So we're paying first 4 in the place books, fixed odds on those races. So our top 3 doubles turned into a top 4 double. Concert Hall, Rock on Wood, both to finish in the first 4 respectively. $2.30 if you took the double, $2.60. I reckon that's a gift. There's your Christmas present, BP. Concert Hall and a Rock on Wood to run top 4.
Well, thank you, Thaddeus Taylor, aka Santa Claus. Concert Hall, top 4. Rock on Wood, top 4. $2.60.
Oh, I'll be happy playing that. That's really generous, and obviously, I think when we'd sort of discussed it earlier, said, "Oh, let's throw this at Thad," and hadn't realised it was a top 4 type race. So it's not
actually,
a bad look.
someone just sent me a photo of him at the Lower Hutt Westfield there, taking photos with children. So thanks, Santa Thad. That's magnificent. That really is a great bet, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Have some of that.
Well, let's have a look at the leaderboard. How's things going here with the race to 1,000?
Oh, so close, Brendan Popperwell.
Well, this is close.
Where do you go? You tell me.
Well, Jason, first of all, let's reflect on this. 235 units last week, 101 at the top there, and 46.5
Yeah,
to
Gorbachev going for the stands never really gave me a
Unfortunately,
sight.
Super Strike would have got me home, I think.
Oof.
Super Strike.
I did have Super Strike as well.
Oh, true. So it would have been neck and neck to the line.
Okay, all right. Let's see what some bets are from.
What is the first meeting? Is there Japan tonight? Is there right? We can get a little bit of Japan. So first,
you could play Kawasaki if you wanted to. Yeah.
Got some mail coming through from Kawasaki as we speak.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, let's go to you first of all, then, Jason. How are you going to try and get?
I'm going to play Call Sign Mav in race number 3. It's an excellent race. It's a race with some quality in there, as you'd expect at this time of the year. Look, we're nearing Christmas. We're nearing Boxing Day. Lincoln Raider Toms, Platinum Invader, and Shadows Cast there at Awapuni. At Te Rapa, did my little spec on Rockjar. Trialled up, looked really ordinary in the trial, and I know that's not normally a formula to be backing a horse, but is right-handed, and so coming left-handed, that's where all her form is. I think you'll see a horse from an inside draw that'll roll along and could steal it at a price.
Big Mascarpone that day at Te Rapa too.
Yeah, there you go.
TFC special as well.
And Crafty Jessup, little 15 units on the TFC special, and if I had 108 units like Aidan often does have, then you'd probably play an extra 8.
I don't know where you're coming from with that, Jason. Okay, into the first, Holy Mongol Emperor kicks us off and looks to be some sort of standout there, I would have thought. Into 6, 7 and 8, there's some really promising 3-year-olds in that second leg, so a $2 unit, 2 unit of the double there. Beauty Star I'm liking, even despite the 60.5, 237 into 2.5, that's the double we spoke about earlier. That does include As a Boy, who is my hit for the fence here at 35 units. 1 into 2, 2 into 1, 3 in the $2 unit double that we spoke about earlier. A terrific race at Awapuni. Concert Hall, Platinum Invader, Shadows Cast and Rock on Wood, all as double bets into the 2 features out of Awapuni. And we do have a $55,000 race at Gore. 150 years of the Tapanui Racing Club, so congratulations to the team there. Kamina Rikoso was terrific last time out. I think Mark Cookson's put the finishing polish on this one as well for the team. And I've got 10 units on the TFC special as well.
Okay, all right. My bonus, my bet, I've done this. I've got a 1 unit double.
Whoa!
At
In the
Otaki.
first, there you go.
No, I haven't done that. No. I haven't done that.
The last 60 seconds have had me nearly walking off the set. The last 60 seconds of absolute flipping trash talk that's been going. Dear, oh
Think of it as field for $1 unit, 100. No, I'm not going to do that. Come on, I'm not playing the game. Right. Race 2 at Awapuni, number 5, perfect scenario. Very good trials from this horse, especially the trial behind Not an Option, 2 trials back. And I thought Opalescence trial was very good race day as well behind a nice horse in Preakness, so 10 units on both those horses. 10 units race 6 on Concert Hall, and 15 units on Platinum Invader in the Cup. Go to Te Rapa, Holy Mongol Emperor, 15 units on that runner, and that should pretty much get it done because that's all before your bets.
That is.
So race 1, number 1, Holy Mongol Emperor.
It's been very civilised.
Yeah. Race 4, number 1 in Beauty Star, 20 units on that horse, and also we've got 20 units on Germanicus.
There has to be an opportunity there. That was such a good zinger. If we put that on tape and sent that to KFC, surely they'd come into partnership with Kamata Park. And at this time of the night, like, that would just be absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
Kamata Park with KFC, a big bucket. And
the great Kamata Park was obviously sponsoring our show, but also the feature on Saturday. So, yeah, big ups to them.
All right. Thanks, team. Right, best bets.
Kamata Park horse, a Lincoln Raider.
I'm going to go for the TFC special. I thought it was pretty generous, so hopefully we... Thanks, guys.
Dude, that's special. Thank you very much.
And you're with Germanicus.
Germanicus, yes, I'm with Germanicus in the last race at...
I should say Lincoln Farms is Lincoln Raider, but, you know, obviously the association, they're all tight there, aren't they?
Right.
Lincoln Farms.
We're going to announce the winner. The winner for up for $200 worth of bonus bets, Cameron Steele. Go and get it, Cam, because Big Mike might be in town on Saturday out of Te Rapa.
Nice.
And that's Cameron's best bet for the weekend. Big Mike second up over 1,600 metres. Blink it up.
Loves
Good
the
luck.
shades on, does he, Cam Steele?
Yeah,
He's big on the shades on formula.
Yeah. No, good work. So all the best to you, Cameron. Nice selection there with Big Mike as your best bet. Big thanks to Jason Tarn and Adrian Rodley. We'll be back on Monday, don't forget as well, folks, for a Boxing Day special.
Yeah.
So we'll catch you for that. All the best on the punt.
Nothing can break me down. I'm the man. Come